Welcome back to Silverstone. We'll see what that man there, Tommy Bridewell, gets to do. He's qualified in 8th place on the grid on the Milwaukee Yamaha. He's been riding out of his socks recently. It'll be very exciting to see what he can muster here at Silverstone. Let's go over then to our commentary team for this first MCE race of the day. James Whittam, and alongside him, Jack Burnicle.
Honda chose British Superbikes in the opening round of the 2004 season here for the launch at Silverstone of their new Fireblade. And Michael Rutter delighted the hierarchy of the Japanese manufacturer by putting the bike on pole position for the opening race and then scorching to victory while his teammate Yuichi Kiyanari was making his debut in the series. Well, we've got a Honda Fireblade on pole position once again in the hands of Alex Lowes, who's won 5 of the last 6 races and is poised just 1 point behind Shaky Byrne in the British Superbike Championship. All to play for then, and you'll notice that Alex Lowes turned and looked across at his wounded rival and gave him a grinning thumbs up before they set off on their warm-up lap.
Yeah, I saw him after qualifying yesterday, you know, and I think that Alex was fairly impressed with the fact that even injured and in a lot of pain though he is, Shane Byrne had put it on 2nd place on the grid, and I think he appreciated his effort, did Alex Lowes.
The championship standings look like this. Shaky Byrne on 5.59 points is 1 point ahead of Alex Lowes on 5.58. 20 points back to James Ellison, Milwaukee Yamaha, 5.38. 3 points ahead of Josh Brooks on the Taiko Suzuki. 5th place for the absent Kiyanari on his Samsung Honda. 6th, James Westmoreland, Bill-based BMW. 7th and leading the chase for the Cup is John Kirkham ahead of PJ Jacobson, Tommy Bridewell and Chris Walker. 11th place for Peter Hickman on the Lloyd's British GB Moto Honda ahead of Keith Farmer and Dan Linfoot. Josh Waters, now with Halsell Racing Kawasaki, is 14th ahead of Jakob Smertz. Paget's Honda have had some good results round here. Howie Mainwaring, Michael Rutter, Matteo Baiocco, who's qualified really well, Carl Harris and Robin Harms. Alex Lowes, Samsung Honda on pole position. Shane Byrne, Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki, brilliantly, bravely 2nd. PJ Jacobson, Taiko Suzuki 3rd, ahead of his teammate Josh Brooks in 4th. Build-based BMW's John Kirkham 5th, ahead of Peter Hickman on the Lloyd's British GB Moto Honda. 3rd row of the grid, best qualifying so far this year for Matteo Baiocco on the Rapido Sport Racing Ducati, ahead of Tommy Bridewell and James Westmoreland. And the 4th row, Jakob Smertz, Noriyuki Haga and Michael Rutter. Yep, Michael Rutter's still there and still doing it. James, the last thing that Shaky Byrne did before he went out on track was he swallowed 2 paracetamol and 2 ibuprofen. I said, are you allowed to do that? He said, that's what the medical centre told me to do.
You need to read the small print there, Shaky. I've got to apologise to everybody for the grid walk there, because I went on a big wingman kind of tack. You know, can the teammates help the main riders in the championship? And it kind of fell on its bum, that, because they're just out for themselves, it would appear, the wingmen. They're not going to help the teammates at all.
I'll tell you who's impressed. Matteo Baiocco, yes, after tests at Misano and Mugello, where he was faster than both Michele Pirro and Niccolo Canepa. And they've got that tank extension on the Panigale. They've set the foot pegs and the handlebars back by all of 25 mil, and it's made all the difference to the handling of the bike. That beautiful helmet there, you'll notice, has something written on the back, and that's kind of a warning. By the way, it's done by Rage Designs, the helmet, beautifully done, and it says objects ahead may appear closer than you think. Number 22, Alex Lowes on pole position. Shaky Byrne alongside him, and behind Shaky there you can see Josh Brooks, 3 of the main protagonists for the 2013 British Superbike title. Off the line. Perfect start for the pair of them as they head into Copse Corner.
Brooks made a good start as well.
Shaky made a terrific start. He got the better of Alex Lowes as they dived into Copse Corner. And walking wounded on crutches or not, Shaky has the advantage.
Yeah, that's brilliant, because I think Shaky needs to keep out of trouble. He doesn't want to get involved in a war with anybody in the state he's in. Brooks, 3rd. Good start from him.
Josh Brooks, who suffered from extreme chatter problems all weekend, will be determined to make some mark on this race early on, and he's got the start he wanted.
Sorry, way back. There's somebody heading for the... Could have been Rutter going grass tracking that.
As they dive down Hanger Straight, Byrne, Lowes grabs the advantage from Shaky Byrne. Josh Brooks 3rd, Jacobson 4th. Shaky has a look underneath as they go through Stoke Corner.
And gets it, I think. We're back into another left-hander here. That should give the advantage back to Laws.
It does. Oh, and look, no, someone's gone straight on.
Yeah, they have.
Someone's gone straight on and down. Two of them have collected each
That's
other.
one of the GD Hondas. It is, it's Lindfoot and it's Noriyuki Haga.
Ah, Norrie Haga not having the best of fortune because he was taken out by Tommy Bridewell in race 2 at Assen just a couple of weeks ago. So that's the end of the Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki.
We don't know what happened, so we can't come in, but it does look like he's got a bit of a target on his back, does Norrie?
So the front three with PJ Jacobson riding the second Taiko Suzuki in 4th place, and then the...
Oh, that's close between, and this is Shane Byrne getting some trouble from Josh Brooks, and he's up the inside of him now. That was, he tried it at the corner before, and they nearly came together.
So Josh now has got to try and sling out a line and attach it to the back of number 22, Alex Lowe, but Shakey's looking underneath him again as they drop into Brooklands.
He's got him.
Yep. So Shaky, injured or not, is having nothing to do with this. He just wants to be up there, clear at the front, fighting for that 2nd place.
Yeah, you don't want to be getting put offline and dicing with somebody if you're in the state he's in. He's very fragile, in a lot of pain. He says he struggles to move the bike from one side to another. It's putting weight on each leg and then taking it off that's the problem. He says it's when it takes the weight off, the pain seems to come. It's some kind of nerve damage going on there.
So Lowe's, Byrne, Brooks, Jacobson, sorry, I'm going back to his grandfather's name, Kirkham, Bridewell, Hickman, Westmoreland, Ellison already 9th. He said he wanted to consume 10 places on the first lap. Well, he's taken 9 of them out because he's gone from 18th to 9th, just behind James Westmoreland and ahead of Matteo Baiocco.
Yeah, that's the move Haga on.
Well, the way as if Lindfoot went down, may have lost it and gone down and collected Norrie. Yeah,
from the way the bikes were laying after the accident, this is like an air crash investigations kind of thing I'm doing now. I reckon it could have been Lindfoot's fault, that. But if it isn't, I'm sorry, Dan.
As they drop down through Vale once again, number 22, Alex Lowe's on the blue Samsung Honda, and look at Shaky Byrne. Well, the ibuprofen and the paracetamol by the ton must have kicked in. He said there's a bit of ecstasy in there as well. If I get on the podium and I look a bit light-headed, they'll know why. As they come down across the new start and finish straight, we're not using this time. Look at Alex Lowe's slinging it into the right-hander at Abbey Curve at 100 miles an hour there in 3rd gear, and then sweeping round the 120 mile an hour left-hander at Farm, and then losing all that speed to drop into the complex at Village.
Shaky has the chunkiest of mates who comes with it. He looks like the toughest man in the world, proper cottony bloke who looks like he would hit you as soon as look at you. But
he's a motocrosser.
Yeah, he is, and he advocated a bit of gin or vodka. He said.
That Shaky's last request to him before he went out, after he'd had the paracetamol and ibuprofen, was for a banana. But the lad came back and planted a pear down in front of him and said they've run out of bananas.
He probably don't know the difference, to be honest.
So Shaky almost collected the back wheel of the Samsung Honda then.
He did, but he limited the damage there pretty well, you know. It looked like he'd run wider than that.
As they now go hooning their way through Woodcut, 135, 140 miles an hour, up to 170 down the straight here. Fabulous track this, as they back off down into Copse Corner. They're still the top side of 90 as they swoop through Copse and on to the 125 mile an hour burst down to Maggots. Well, that's fast left-hander, and look at Shaky.
I'm just going to say, Jack, no matter what you want to say about Shaky, he's having a go at this. He's fighting for his championship.
That beautiful, but James Ellison is up to 9th place now, just behind James Westmoreland on the leading build-based BMW. Sorry, the second build-based BMW. There he is, 27, Westmoreland, 77 is Ellison, running in 9th. And behind them, Matteo Baiocco having a splendid ride on the Rapido Sport Ducati. Look at Shaky. Oh, Alex Lowe's having none of that. Ruthlessly closes the door on the way into Stowe Corner.
And that on an injured man.
Yeah. Wow.
Ellison's having a good day, and do you know what? He's actually only about 4 seconds off the lead. That's not... I thought these would have cleared off a little bit more. If it didn't get through quicker than he has, I thought that Ellison would have more work hard. Can he get on terms with them? Not sure.
I'm just concerned that he's not there just at this moment, but I may have misread that completely wrongly, because Bridewell's in there, number 46 on the first of the Milwaukee Yamahas. There's the current championship positions as they would stand. I've already missed them, sorry, because I was so concerned about where Ellison was. I can see the distinctive helmet of Westmoreland in the background, but where is Ellison?
You're right.
He might have dropped a place.
Yep, I think you're right. He isn't where he was with Westmoreland at this point.
So he could have made a mistake at some point out of frame on this lap, as Lowe's leads the way down the Wellington Straight. Screaming down the Wellington Straight, 175 miles an hour before you back off for Brooklands. And Josh Brooks not able to escape from his teammate PJ Jacobson, and Bridewell's right in there with the Taiko Suzukis.
Just going to say, watch for Bridewell. He's looking a little bit giddy now just to get past Jacobson.
Once again, the swoop through Woodcote. How good is that? Look at it.
Yeah.
Still absolutely keeled over as they go past us. And Alex Lowe's thrashing the hide off the Fireblade in its 10th year of competition in British Superbikes.
Well, you know, this isn't the same Fireblade that debuted with Rutter to success here, because it has changed. This one is about 5 or 6 year old, this exact model. And the Fireblade itself has been out 20 years, can you believe? This is its 21st year. It was just the new Fireblade that Rutter won on here.
Ellison has lost a place to Hickman on that lap, and yet his lap time, 2 minutes 7.44, doesn't look too bad. How extraordinary. Anyway, he dropped back behind Hickman on the Lloyd's British GB Motor Honda on that lap. So Kirkham is 6th, 7th Hickman, 8th Ellison, 9th Westmoreland, 10th Biocco, 11th Walker, 12th Lee Costello.
Fastest man on track, Lowe's, that last lap, 2:06.83. But this has also got to be a really good lap for Shaky Byrne, because I think he's actually closed in the first on Lowe's on the first part of this lap.
Leading the way then, Alex Lowe, Shaky Byrne, Josh Brooks, the top three. That beautiful black helmet of Shaky Byrne's, it's credited to Rage Designs. Mick the Boot at Rage Designs did the helmet. Objects ahead may be closer than they appear, is the cryptic message, should he manage to get ahead of number 22, Alex Lowe's.
Well, that's the message you get that's written on all wing mirrors in the States, just because you can't do anything wrong in the States without actually blaming somebody else and suing them. So everybody has to mark everything for the most stupid common denominator there is.
On the Wellington Straight, and they're just beginning to ease out a bit of the gap as PJ Jacobson begins to apply pressure to Josh Brooks, and teammates or not, the American is looking for a way past the Australian. There are the two of them nailed together on the blue and white Taiko Suzukis.
Speaking of nailed together, I can't believe Shaky Byrne nailed back together as he is doing what he's doing here.
He said he was really stiff and sore first thing this morning, but the guys in the medical centre have worked hard on trying to apply a little bit of movement. The most comical thing is that they have to lift his right leg like a kind of artificial limb onto the saddle.
Yeah, and don't make any mistake here, these things are not the biggest of bikes, and they're not, you know, they look like big blocks on these bikes. They're not. It's because the bikes are so small, and the distance between the seat to the footrest is not so much. It's like almost being in a squat for best part of an hour. They're not the easiest thing to sit on when you're fit, these things.
So Shaky Byrne, the hardy, he gets, his hardiness is cloaked in a kind of constant blue-eyed smile, looking happy.
Hang on, Brooks is out, Brooks is out.
Oh, Brooks has got a problem, a major problem for Josh Brooks. This really is a huge dent in the Australians' championship chances. Something's wrong with the Taiko Suzuki. He vacates 3rd place. That's cruel misfortune
it is.
for the 30-year-old from the edge of Sydney.
Oh! Shane Byrne needs to watch out. He had a little bit of a look at Alex Lowe's. They've nearly touched about 2 or 3 times now already in this race.
Alex Lowe's just keeping his head down and running at the front. PJ Jacobson now in 3rd place. 4th place for Tommy Bridewell. 2 young men having their own personal squabble in their chase for 7th place in the series.
I don't exactly know what obviously went wrong with Brooks's back there, but it was fairly immediate. He knew he wasn't carrying on. He pulled across to the left on the main part of the straight. The thing you've got there is you don't want to dump oil on anybody else behind you if you've got an engine problem. You don't know if oil's coming out if your engine's stopping. And also, you kind of don't want to get clobbered by anybody if your bike's stopping.
Tommy Bridewell there on the Milwaukee Yamaha, now running strongly in 4th place. Sean Muir, the team owner and team boss, said he was they were looking at Tommy as the possibility of a full-time ride with them next year, and the way that he's stepped onto the Yamaha, you'd be foolish not to.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Based in Gisborne, at the foot of the Cleveland Hills in North Yorkshire, the team. Sean says you've got to come and see our workshop sometime. You could actually fry yourself an egg on the floor. It's a clean.
Yeah, Bridewell comes from a mechanicking family. His dad works on and sells a few cars down there in Devizes in Wiltshire. And Tommy's now actually buying and selling a few bikes and working on a few bikes. I spoke to somebody on a skiing holiday last year that says, oh, you might know the bloke who works on my bike. He's Tommy Bridewell. Says, yep, I know him really well.
Bridewell there running in fourth, but closing the gap on PJ Jacobson. Kirkham still fifth, Hickman sixth, Ellison not at the moment able to improve on seventh place on bike 77 ahead of Westmoreland. Biotko in ninth place. Josh Waters having a strong ride on the Halsall Kawasaki is now into the top 10 ahead of his teammate Lee Costello, who's being dragged along by the two-time Australian champion.
And you get the feeling that Ellison's been sort of dragged into battling with people that he should be able to go quicker than, and it's so easy to do that. You know, his lap times now have dropped to the people around him like Hickman and Westmoreland, when clearly he can do the times of the leaders if he'd have got away with them.
Tommy Bridewell attacking the loose riding 20-year-old from upstate New York, number 99, PJ Jacobson. 2 minutes 7.3. The lap record incidentally held by Josh Brooks from 2011, 2 minutes 6.253. And that's appreciably quicker than Lowe's quickest so far.
Can you remember that race when he came through from about 8th or 9th and took the win? A fantastic ride by Brooks, that was.
Look at the way that Burns riding. There doesn't look to be anything wrong with him, the way he's slinging that Kawasaki around.
It does just a little bit. If you watch on the fast changes of direction, when the bike's got a lot of momentum and it wants to keep going the way it's going and he has to force it, he's just a little bit slower than what he would be, I think, anyway.
He did say that when he near high-sided, coming there onto the Hanger Straight during yesterday's qualification, he said, I was kind of just off. I was just not able to react. I was after it quick before it.
Yeah.
Tommy Bridewell now really is putting the pressure on PJ Jacobson. Jacobson making a really keen reputation for himself in his debut season, of course, in this championship.
Jacobson sliding about here, you know. There's a really big race like Jacobson got that, and it wasn't a problem.
Yeah, but Matey says if a bike stays in line, I don't like it. I like it.
Good lad.
Alex Lowe's leading away. Incidentally, his stand-in teammate, the Frenchman Freddie Foray. Lovely to have the genial 29-year-old double world endurance champion back in the paddock, deputising for Yuichi Kiyanari, who is currently riding, or has been riding, the IDM German Championship on a Honda. And Freddie's in the points in 14th place ahead of Jakob Smertz. Look at this. James Ellison is now making a move. He's got the better of Peter Hickman on the Lloyd's British GB Moto Honda, and he's right behind that distinctive helmet of number 27. James Westmoreland is... Oh, no, I beg your pardon, it's Kirkham. Kirkham, number 10, and...
That's how distinctive it is.
Yes, sorry.
Oh, and he's not wasting any time.
He kept underneath.
He did.
I thought Kirkham had thwarted him, but not.
Thwarted. Good word, Jack. 2 points for that one.
So Ellison now through into 5th place. Now, with a bit of open track, James, do you think he might be able to get back down to those times he had going for him earlier?
He's going to have to concentrate on the Miffy, who've got 7 laps to go at the end of this one. He's not beyond the realms. He's going to have to get his foot down, though, as it were.
Looking behind at there's Westmoreland versus Biocco, and then this lot we've got Josh Waters running there ahead, Barry Burrell now, Lee Costello, Chris Walker, Freddie Foray there on the second of the Samsung Honda bikes, beginning to get to grips with his first visit to Silverstone.
Yeah, he was a bit of a culture shock for him there, though. On Friday he was surprised just how quick and what a depth of field there was over here.
Freddie Foray, who comes from Sèvres, which is 6 miles from the centre of Paris in the southwestern suburbs. Teammate for the day of this man, number 22, Alex Lowe's, who still has Shaky Byrne for company, just as Jacobson has that man, Tommy Bridewell, on the black, white and red Milwaukee Yamaha, right up his shirt tails.
Good to see that Bridewell's got some team leathers for whatever team. He's still using his old Batham's Honda leathers, even when he rode for, here we go, no, for Halsall, Kawasaki, and then still on the Milwaukee Yamaha at Assen he rode in his old leathers.
These two are very evenly matched. In fact, both these pairs very evenly matched.
Did you see there? Yes. Did you see how Shaky just had to sit up a little bit and just take his time laying it into the second part of that chicane there?
Yet still sets a fastest lap, just half a second off the lap record, running in 2nd place. Ellison in 5th, Kirkham 6th, Hickman. Westmoreland has now been caught by my tail by Occo, having far and away his best outing with those tiny modifications to the Ducati Panigale. Lowe's, Byrne, Jacobson, Bridewell, Ellison, 7.6 seconds behind. Ellison's last lap, 2 minutes 7.7, was pretty much the fastest man on track besides the front two, and here are the front two.
Yeah, but I don't think Ellison's enough. Well, we'll see now. If he builds his speed up, he's got a bit of clear track, who knows.
Alex Lowe's, whose twin brother Sam, of course, may at this very moment as we speak be wrapping up the World Supersport Championship in Magny-Cours in France on an equally beautiful afternoon. Sam's actually 2 minutes older than Alex, so he's the kid brother. Did road motocross until they were 10 and then moved into Junior Road Racing Association action on 80cc Kajivas when they turned 11.
Yeah, they've just always been around after Lowe's, and always had potential. You know, even when they haven't had the best of seasons, people have always known that they're going to be good at some point. Seemingly, anyway.
I like the way the parents split up, so Dad's here and Mum Donna's with Sam in Magny-Cours.
You got to support your kids.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, heck, how do the kids support one another?
They do, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
On the 8th lap of 14 and just beyond half distance, Alex Lowe's 22.67, Shaky Byrne. This is beginning to look increasingly like the nail-biting fight for the MCE Insurance British Superbike title of 2013. Samsung Honda versus Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki.
Ellison did take half a second out of the battling duo of Jacobson and Bridewell. Ellison in 5th, Jacobson 3rd, Bridewell 4th, but it's not enough. He needs more.
3.8 seconds adrift at the moment. There is the battle going on for 3rd place. Here is Ellison on the 2nd Milwaukee Yamaha, getting away now from John Kirkham and Peter Hickman, the tall Lincolnshireman who's had strong qualifying on the Lloyd's British GB Moto Yamaha, Honda even.
Who's tallest between Hickman and Kirkham, would you say?
I would say probably Kirkham.
Would you?
But I might be wrong. We'll have to stand them side by side in civvies and have a look. Just checking back outside that top 10, Barry Burrell having a strong ride on the Quattro Plant Kawasaki ahead of his teammate Chris Walker. Lee Costello running 13th now ahead of Freddie Foray. Jakob Smertz still with that final point in 15th place ahead of Carl Harrison. Danny de Boer, the the two-time Dutch champion on the Batham's Honda ahead of his teammate Michael Rutter.
You spoke on Lee Costello, number 39 there. Comes straight from Super Stock 1000 last year.
Oh, he won here in Super Stock 1000.
He did. That was the first time he showed his colours, really. But I've got to say, I think he's had not a bad season on that Halsell Kawasaki, you know. He's come on as the season's gone. He got to grips with his superbike now.
Costello then running in 13th place. Josh Waters obviously liking the Halsell Kawasaki, the twice Australian champion, in 10th place at the moment on bike number 21. These are the men battling for the final rostrum position, and still the ice-cool PJ Jacobson just fends off Tommy Bridewell.
Yeah, and looking at Waters there, you know, Waters now on the Halsell Kawasaki, like you say, he's down in 10th, but he's never, I think that's as high as he's ever been this season. He couldn't ride the Milwaukee Yamaha that well, and it's amazing, you know, that both bikes are competitive, the Kawasaki and the Milwaukee Yamaha's a brilliant bike, but they're very different in how they work. The engine works differently, different power delivery, different way the bike handles, and it's weird how different riders suit different bikes.
And of course his history has generally been on Suzuki for many years, which is winning his Australian championships and racing for them in the World Endurance Championship.
Which is the Suzuki's, the way it works is much more like the Kawasaki than the Yamaha.
In fact, we commentated on Josh Waters, James, we don't remember it too well. He finished 13th in Phillip Island, race 2 in 2011 as a wild card in World Superbike.
Yeah,
and here is number 21 Waters, just ahead of that Quattro Plant Kawasaki duo.
Yeah, we were jet lagged though.
He also finished top 12 at Salt Lake City that year. Another of his wild card rides. Meantime, 2 wild cards running at the front here on the 10th lap of 14 in formation. The super fit Alex Lowe's and the super damaged Shaky Byrne still riding with great courage in second place and hanging on to the Samsung Honda.
With 4.5 to go, what do you think's happening here? Do you think we're seeing a Shane Byrne hoping that something happens to Lowe's, or do you think you're seeing a Shaky Byrne that can do anything about what Lowe's is doing for this win?
Well, what surprises me, James, is when we get to the squirrely bits where Shaky says he's having problems changing direction. He closes.
He seems to catch up. Yeah, I've noticed that. You wouldn't think that, would you?
I think, is it something to do with the paracetamol and the ibuprofen? How many pills is one man allowed to take at any one moment? He certainly has kept right there at the moment. Look, he'd keep the gap to 4 points in the championship, and there'd be a full 30 points ahead of James Ellison if James stayed in 5th place, which at the moment looks likely because he's not managing to narrow that gap on Jacobson and Bridewell.
You know, one thing about Shaky's riding style that's probably helping him at this point is the fact that he has got an economical riding style. He isn't all over the bike. He's very smooth. He knows what the bike's going to do and where it's going to do it. And that helps it, you know, if you're not having to charge up and down and be aggressive and you know, that's probably helping him. But I actually don't know how he's doing what he's doing now, I've got to say.
And do you know what else has just suddenly, as I watched him riding the bumps into Cops Corner there, James, just even the faintest prospect he must have cast right from his mind of falling over on that sore hip again.
And that, as a rider, I mean, we've all ridden injured, but that is a big factor. You know, when you're in pain, you don't want to be in more pain. I don't care how brave you are. You know, if you've stuck your hand in a fire, it burns, you're not going to do it again here. And that has an effect.
Meanwhile, the battle of the youngster. There's 20-year-old Jacobson running in 3rd place. There's Ellison, Kirkham in that allegedly distinctive helmet, number 10 on the leading build base BMW. This is the run through Vale, dropping down the hill. Tommy Bridewell looks very, very keen to find a way past the Taiko Suzuki, but just can't quite, even for Tommy, he can't quite inch in that last couple of bike lengths.
I think he'll probably stick his neck out and make a pass getting towards the end of the race. I think he's close enough to do that.
This is Tommy Bridewell.
Yes, we're talking about, yes.
And you know, until I watched him before he went out for qualifying yesterday, I didn't realise that Tommy speaks to his late brother Ollie before every venture out on track. He has a conversation with him, and they wait patiently while he does that, and then steps onto the bike and sets off. Tommy running in 4th place. Ellison 5th ahead of Kirkham, Hickman. James Westmoreland still just holding off the Rapido Sport Ducati Panigale of Matteo Baiocco, who's beautifully nicknamed Biox after his original hero in his World Supersport days, Rubens House. Looking back down the Wellington Straight, there goes Ellison. There is John Kirkham. Next up, Peter Hickman, number 60. And then the battle there between number 27, James Westmoreland, and number 15, Matteo Baiocco, as they pass underneath our camera lens into Brooklands. Then Josh Waters leading that trail of riders, and Freddie Foray, the double world endurance champion, the 29-year-old Frenchman, beginning to make a move through that pack with the distinctive bright yellow leathers on the blue Samsung Honda. He has squeezed past Chris Walker, I think, into about 12th place.
Yes.
And closed the gap on Waters and...
there is Bridewell past.
Bridewell finally gets the better of PJ Jacobson and sneaks through into 3rd place. Well, you said he'd be keen to make a move on that in that black stealth helmet, and he's finally done it, James.
Yeah, I thought he would. He's got his new Dainese leathers too, and they are trick leathers. He definitely looks the part, does Bridewell, this weekend. Trying to make up for when he's looked a bit scruffy, I've got to be honest.
So great ride once again by Thomas George Bridewell II as they come down towards Vale, tailing the 2 leaders there, dropping through that lovely depression and into the club chicane.
You've got to say that Bridewell, you know, I wasn't sure he had this in him, you know. He's looking like a factory rider now. He's looking settled. I don't want to speak too soon and jinx him, but you know, he looks like he is a rostrum kind of candidate every weekend.
He finished just off it. He finished 4th here at Silverstone on the supersonic BMW last year, on his way to 6th in the championship.
He rode that thing well.
So Tommy Bridewell on Milwaukee Yamaha doing everything to impress Sean Muir. Running strongly in 3rd place. PJ Jacobson right behind him. These 2 guys, of course, not involved in the showdown. So sadly can't conceivably win or get into the top 6 in the British Championship, but running for that 7th place.
Yeah, and this is why they were both seen as wingmen to their sort of #1 riders. Obviously, PJ Jacobson to Brooks and Tommy Bridewell to James Ellison. But the way the race has panned out, they're racing for themselves.
PJ really putting some strong moves on, straining to get back on terms with Bridewell, not let the Devonshire boy get away.
I think, honestly, that PJ is struggling a bit more behind Bridewell than when it was the other way around.
Meanwhile,
yep,
we're on to the 13th of 14 laps, and look at this, Shaky as close as he's ever been to Alex Lowes as they chop through that fantastic sequence, through Maggots, through Beckett's, the final 70 mile an hour to Chapel, the right-hand curve before they flick left onto the Hanger Straight.
Whatever these pair think about each other, you know, they have a lot of respect, and I know they like each other actually, but even after what happened at Assen, you cannot not have respect for your rival when they're doing this.
Oh,
look at this.
Shaky,
This is
not quite able to get late enough on the brakes into Stoke Corner. Whatever shape he's feeling in right now, I think he must be on adrenaline.
Absolutely, and it's a massive factor, is that. You know, I was chatting with James Hayden earlier. As a rider at this level, you've got to have ridden injured at some point. That's just a fact, and it depends on the injury. But once that adrenaline gets going around it, but it's amazing what you can do, honestly. And I wouldn't consider myself a tough man at all, and James wouldn't either. But it is amazing just sometimes what you can pull out.
Swooping through. This is one of the sections that he says is pretty hard to cope with. The right and left through Abbey and Farm, and then when it tightens up here into Village and the loop, we're on the 13th lap of 14.
You watch Shaky on that bit. The left-hander going into the right. He slams the brakes on. You see the front compress, and that's the bike right on its side. And you need so much feeling confidence in the front end to do that. It's a lot easier to just grab a load of brake and go down the road than it is to stay on. It's just such a fine kind of balance, is that.
And look at them herring off down the Wellington Straight, down the Duke of Wellington Straight, and then dipping left into Brooklyn, named after the famous original Brooklands track down in Surrey.
I thought it was named after a Wellington bomber, not the Duke of Wellington, because
yes, it will be.
I'm going to say because he used to fly from here during the war, I think.
Correct. I knew you'd know. I was testing your Second World War history knowledge.
No, it's possibly not named after the rubber boot. Although you never know.
And once again, as they go down towards Copse Corner, ooh, that twitching Samsung Honda dropping into the final lap at Copse.
Well, we're going to see now.
He gets great ride coming out of Copse. Look at it as if he might try and pull him over to go into the next under. Oh, he sits up Alex Lowe, sensational, as they go through Maggots.
Unbelievable.
So and then Beckett's round to Chapel Curve. Shane Byrne has the lead for the first time on the final lap here. First race at Silverstone.
He needs to make no mistakes now, Jack. He doesn't need a bobble, he doesn't need a slide, he doesn't need to run wide. He said just be perfect. He's defending slightly, look, you see.
And as they break down at the end of the Hanger Straight into Stoke Corner, that's one opportunity for Alex Lowe's gone.
Yeah, it is.
Now through Stoke Corner, the next one will be an assault as we go down towards the Vale here, down to the Club Chicane.
And I thought this would have been a strong point for Alex, and he's missed another opportunity. We go left and then straight into a right, a double right, and then past the new pit complex. Maybe Alex is thinking about setting something up into
it surely is. He's so close. Gets drive out of club now.
It's a right-hander
down the straight. He'll get us underneath him. Going into the right-hander. Does he make the
no,
not quite. Through the fast right-hander at Abbey. This is happening at 220 miles an hour, ladies and gentlemen. Round Farm.
Here we go.
And they'll break for Village. Protecting his line. Shaky Byrne keeps it tight as he drops into the right-hander at Village. Swings it right.
He's defending nicely.
He's doing everything to protect his line. He needs to get the drive as it opens up into Aintree. Now,
this is where he needs it.
Straight.
This is where he needs it, because Alex will be looking to get in the slipstream, set something up into the next left, and he's not long left.
Oh, he's got a terrific drive while Shaky goes across to the left to protect his line. Dropping into Brooklands. Alex goes around the outside of him.
Has he gone quick?
At the final complex at Silverstone just a year ago, and he might have done it again. He goes, cuts it deeply in. Here comes Shaky, looking for the outside line. Cutting back as they go towards Woodcote. He picks up the Kawasaki, tries to get the drive inside the Honda. He's done it. As they fight for the line, and neck and neck. Gets it by half a bike length across the line. An astonishing race here at Silverstone.
I tell you what,
first BSB race of the day, and more to come.
I've got to say, bravest ride I've seen for a long time, that from Shane Byrne.
Bridewell third, Jacobson in fourth place, James Ellison fifth,
Look
John
at that.
Kirkham, and the two congratulate one another at the end of an astonishing race there at Silverstone.
Look at that.
I'd love to know what to say.
Good job they got the helmets on, they'll be kissing. Gotta tell you what, brilliant ride from both.
The first race of the British Superbike afternoon for the big boys. Alex Lowe's just turned 23 years old on the Samsung Honda, wins it from the 36-year-old three-time champion Shaky Byrne by, in the end, 0.094 of a second. Tommy Bridewell's Milwaukee Yamaha third. PJ Jacobson's Taiko Suzuki in fourth place. Fifth for James Ellison. Sixth, an excellent ride by John Kirkham. All of these boys, in fact, in the top 10. Peter Hickman finishing seventh. James Westmoreland eighth. Matteo Baiocco, best result of the year for the Rapido Sport Racing Ducati. 10th, Barry Burrell from Bishop Auckland on the Quattro Plant Kawasaki, ahead of Freddie Foray, making his return to the series on the Samsung Honda. Josh Waters, Halsall Racing Kawasaki, finishes 12th ahead of Chris Walker, Lee Costello and Jakob Smertz. They are the point scorers. 16 for Michael Rutter, getting the better of his new teammate Danny de Boer, Carl Harris, Aaron Zanotti and Lady Jenny Tenmouth. The championship standings, Alex Lowe's 5.83, now has a 4-point lead over Shaky Byrne. James Ellison on his 34 points back in third. Josh Brooks, after that misfortune, is fourth ahead of James Westmoreland and Yuichi Kianari. Seventh place to John Kirkham, ahead of Tommy Bridewell, PJ Jacobson, 1 point behind Bridewell. That was an interesting battle in all senses. Chris Walker in 10th place for Quattro Plant Kawasaki, ahead of Peter Hickman 11th, Keith Farmer, Dan Linford in 12th place ahead of Josh Waters, Jakob Smertz, Howie Mainwaring, Michael Rutter, Matteo Baiocco, Barry Burrell and Carl Harris.